section of coordinate geometry, the line. So you had 2 to 14, was it? The even numbers. So does anyone need me to do 2? 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 12, yeah, okay. So P is the line AQ, A4, point even. Q is a point 2, 3. R is, sorry, (3 minus 1). And S is minus 2, 4. Right, okay, and then it says PQ with 2 straight lines either side, which is the length of PQ is equal to the length of RS, probably, right? Find the possible values of A, so there's going to be more than one answer, right? Okay, so length of PQ, x1, y1, x2, y2, square root of x. Is it okay if I just fill it in and not write it out? So it's x2 is 2 minus x1 is a, all to be squared, plus y2 is 4, no it's not, it's 3, minus y1 is 4, all to be squared. Is that okay? Length of PQ, we okay, excuse me, are we okay with that? Square root of, I'm going to square out this bracket, okay, square the first, twice the first by the second, square the last. Okay, and a few puppies died in your test yesterday, so fix it. Right, stop killing puppies. Right, 4 minus 4a, I just have to make sure I didn't kill a puppy. No, I'm okay. Plus minus 1 to be squared is 1. Is that alright? Over this side, I'm getting RS. So RS is x1, y1, x2, y2. So it's x1 minus x2 to be squared plus y1 minus y2 to be squared. That's a y, not an x. Right, okay. Have I that right? Okay, square that out. That's the square, that's 5 to be squared is 25. Square root of 50. Is that alright? Did I do something wrong there? You seems to be stunned silence, but we're okay, are we? Right. Square root equals the square root. I need to get rid of those square root signs, so I'm going to square both sides. So square both sides. So you get 4 minus 4a squared, 4a plus a squared plus 1 equals 50. Right, rearrange, so I have a squared minus 4a, 5 minus 50 when it comes over, so that'll be minus 45 equals 0. Right, 2 sets of brackets, a and a, 9 and 5. I want to end up with minus 4, so minus 9a in the middle plus 5a then. Right, then let each bracket equal 0, so a can be 9 or a can be minus 5. Are we good? Is that alright? Okay, that was number 12. Number 14, anyone?
Yeah, just do part 2.
Yeah, just part 2 here, the whole lot for someone else said yeah?
Right, can you do part 2 and 3?
2 and 3, right, okay. So 14, right, our A is minus 1, minus 2. B is 7, 2. And C is K4. Where K is a constant are the vertices of a triangle ABC. The angle ABC is a right angle, so that means if it's a triangle, I'm not drawing it out accurately, it's a right angle triangle, and it tells me, where is it, angle, where am I? It tells me angle ABC is a right angle, okay? So ABC, is that alright? I'm not drawing it out accurately, but they've told me that's a right angle, so that means they are perpendicular, doesn't it? So it means the line A to B and the line B to C are perpendicular. So if you multiply their two slopes, you get -1. Okay, just before I even read the question. Okay, so part 1 is find the slope of AB. He said that's fine. So AB, slope of AB, what's it? A half? Right, okay. Slope of AB is a half using the slope formula x1, y1, x2, y2. Yeah, fine? Yeah. Part 2 then it says find the slope of BC. So they are perpendicular. So if the slope of that is a half, what's the slope of a perpendicular line? -2. So the slope of BC is -2. So I'm going to call this x1, y1, x2, y2. Slope formula y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. Right, and the answer is -2. So it's y2 is 4 minus 2 all over x2, which is k minus 7. And the answer to that is -2. Yeah? Are we all good? Right, 4 minus 2 on top is -2. I have k minus 7 on the bottom. Over here, -2, I might just put it over 1. -2 over 1, so I can cross multiply, because it's a fraction equal to a fraction. So you cross multiply this way, so it's -2 by k minus 7. Right, cross multiply this way, it's -2 by 1, which is -2. Multiply into the bracket, -2k plus 14 equals -2. K on one side, numbers on the other, so -2k equals -16 when the 14 comes over, it becomes -14. Divide by -2 when you get k is equal to 8. Happy with that? Okay. Right, and then part 3, I made a mistake. What? It was equal to what?
6. I'm pretty sure.
It was equal to 6 in the book. I have a wrong sign, so right, okay, where's my wrong sign? Is the slope minus a half by any chance? Say that again? Yeah,
The
no.
slope is -2 and then they've got 6.
Yeah, -2. So where did I go wrong? 4 minus 2, because it's +2 on top. Okay, I'm sorry, 4 minus 2 is +2. I said it was -2. So that should be +2, that should be a +2. When the 14 comes over, that would be a minus. So it would be 2, take away 14, which is -12. And -12 divided by -2 is 6. Sorry, a pen that wrote now would be very helpful. So that would be, that's -12. Oh, for God's sake. That would be -12. Yeah, pen that writes. And then when you divide -12 divided by -2, you get +6. Okay, sorry. I said 4 take away 2 was -2. It's actually +2. Right, you're in trouble if your maths teacher can't do the subtraction. But anyway. Right, are we good? Right, okay. That was part 2, and someone said part 3 as well. Okay. Show that the length of AB may be written in the form p root 5. Okay, so then you're just getting -1, -2, and 7, 2. So 2 straight lines either side, or it just says length. So x1, y1, x2, y2, square root of x2 minus x1 to be squared plus y2 minus y1 to be squared. Okay, that's the square root of 7 minus -1 to be squared, and then y2 is 2, then there's a minus sign, then -2 is y1, so you end up with 2 minuses in a row again, so 2 minuses in a row will give me a plus, so that would be the square, into the calculator with that and press equals, and it'll simplify it for you. But if you want to do it out yourself, that's 64 plus 8, which is the square root of 72. Right, 72 can be written as No, I have something wrong. What have I wrong? 4 squared is 16, so it's square root of 80? Okay, that's better. Right, okay, so it can be written as p root 5. That can't be written. Is that right? Square root of 80? It went to 4 root 5. Yeah, okay. So I think that would be 64 and 16. It's 80. No, that wouldn't be 4 root 5 though. Oh, it would be. Oh, apologies. Yes, it is the square root of 80. Square root of 80. How they simplify that, girls, is square root of 80. 80 can be written as 16 by 5, can't it? Right, 16 by 5. So that's the square root of 16 multiplied by the square root of 5. So you give each one its own little square root sign. And the square root of 16 is 4, and that's root 5. But you don't need to know that because the calculator is a magic machine that does it for you. Is that alright? Okay, are we good? But just in case you did it out, that's how that is that. Okay, right. Part 4, do you want part 4? Given that the area of the triangle is half the length of the base multiplied by the perpendicular height, find the exact area of that. So where's my picture? I'll go back to my picture. There I have. Do I have the length of BC by any chance? What did I just get the length of? The slope, did I? I didn't get the length of AB, did I? So if I'm going half the base by the perpendicular height, it'd be a half multiplied by the length of BC multiplied by the length of AB, wouldn't it? Okay, so what did I just got AB, it's a half multiplied by, I haven't got BC. AB was just figured out, it was 4 root 5. Okay, so you have to go and do the distance formula to get the length of BC, known that K is now 6. So when you do that, that's 1 square root of 5, is it? Right, okay, into the calculator with that, a half multiplied by root 5 multiplied by 4 root 5, which would be 10. No? Yeah, 10. Right, so your answer is 10. Is that alright? So BC you haven't done, the length of BC, so you have to go and take your points BC, so you now know C is 6. So you're taking 7, 2, 6, 4, filling out the distance formula, and your answer will be root 5. And then you multiply a half, multiply by root 5, multiply by 4 root 5, and that gives you 10. Is that okay? Are we okay with number 14? We good? Right, okay. So area of a triangle is next. Area of a triangle is a new formula this year. Okay, and it's just a formula. Okay, so there isn't a lot to it. Now, right, so area of a triangle. Why did I pick up the one that doesn't write? Right, so the formula for area of a triangle, and it's in the log tables, it's a half, 2 straight lines, the modulus, x1, y2, minus x2, y1, and that's your area. Right, okay? Observation. If you have a triangle, how many points do you have? 3. You'll have the 3 vertices, the 3 corners of the triangle, won't you? How many points are in here? You have x1, y1 and x2, y2, agreed? So you've only 2 points in there, right? Okay, so the third point, right, must be 0, 0. So the third point, so you're using 2 points. So the third point of the triangle must be 0, 0. Okay, so we'll deal with how, when it's not naught naught, what we do. But for the moment, for the first example, it's going to be naught naught. So one of the corners of the triangle, right? So 3 points, 3 vertices of a triangle. One of them must be naught naught if you want to use this formula. Okay, in a minute we'll deal with when it's not naught naught. But for the moment, it is naught naught. Okay, so if I have a triangle whose vertices, so example 1. Right, find the area of the triangle. With vertices I might go one with naught naught, 3, 4, and -2, -6. Is that okay? Right, so vertices is the corners of a triangle, right? Okay, are we all good with that? So you ignore naught naught, okay, and you call this point x1, y1, and you call this point x2, y2. Is that okay? Right, so then it is a half. Now those two straight lines, girls, are like the modulus. You know the modulus we did in algebra 3? Take the positive value. So if you end up with a negative number, just drop the minus. That's all it is, right? Okay, so those two straight lines means if you end up with a negative number, when you work out in here, if you end up with a negative number, you can't have negative area because it's a measurement. All the measurements have to be positive, so drop the minus sign. That's all those two straight lines did. So x1, y1 means x1 multiplied by y2. So it's 3 multiplied by -6. Okay, then there's a minus sign. And x2, y2 means x2 multiplied by y1. So it's x2 is -2 multiplied by y1, which is 4. Okay, is that alright? Into the calculator with that, if you want to press equals, and if there's a minus sign, drop it. Okay, I'll just work it out here. So that would be a half of 3 times -16 is -18. A minus by a minus is a plus, and 2 4s are 8. So that would be half of -10. And as I say, the two straight lines just means take the positive value. So I'm just dropping that minus value. So that just means a half of 10, and a half of 10 is 5. Okay, is that alright? That's fairly straightforward, do you think? Okay. Sorry, is this down? Right, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to, example 2, one of the points is not going to be naught naught. But before you write it down, okay, I'm just going to draw it out. You needn't write it drawn out, but I just want to show you something, okay? So if I take the triangle, with vertices 2, 3, -5, 1, -5, 1, and 3, 1. So 2, 3 across, 2 up to 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's one vertex right here. Next one is -5, 1. So -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So -5, 1 is here. And 3, 1 would be across 3 and up to 1. Okay, can I change that to 3, 0? Because I don't want it to be straight like that. Okay, can I change that to 3, 0? Okay, is that alright? Okay, so There's my triangle with its lovely straight sides. Okay, so there's my triangle. Right, okay. One of the points is not naught naught, so that means I can't use the formula. The only time you can use the formula is one of the points is naught naught. So what you do is you move one of the points to naught naught, and you move everything else accordingly. So I'll just move this one down here to naught naught, right? Okay, and everything else will move accordingly, so that'll end up over there, and this one will end up over here somewhere. Okay, and here's my new triangle. Okay, so your new triangle is a different triangle. It is a different triangle, but it's got the exact same area. Would you agree? So you're actually getting the area of a different triangle, but it's going to have the exact same area. Okay, so you're just picking your triangle up and you're moving it so one of the corners is on naught naught, right? Okay, and then you're getting the area of that triangle. Are we all okay with that? So you pick up the triangle and you move it, right? How do we move it? We move it with a translation. So example 2. Find the area of the triangle. And I'll just do those vertices I had there. 2, 3, area of the triangle with vertices 2, 3, minus 5, 1, and 3, 0. 2, 3, minus 5, 1, and 3, 0. Okay? So as I say, none of those corners are naught naught. I can't use the formula unless one of them is naught naught. So I move them. Right? Which one do I move? Your choice. Right? So it's completely up to you. So I could choose to move 2, 3. One of you could choose to move minus 5, 1, and someone else would move 3, 0. We'd all get 3 completely different triangles, but every single one of them would have the same area. Right? So the goal is to find the area of the triangle. Right, okay, so I will pick 2, 3 because it's first on the list. Okay, and then I'm going to write minus 5, 1 underneath it, and I'm going to write 3, 0 underneath this. Right, so I'm going to do a translation. So a translation is from Junior Cert, probably haven't heard the word since. Right, you just pick it up and you move it. So I'm going to move 2, 3 to 0, 0, and I'm going to move all the other points in the same direction by the same amount. Okay, so what you do is you look at the x coordinate here. What's the x coordinate here? 2, and you're going to move that to 0. So how do I go from 2 to 0? I take away 2, don't I? Because 2 take away 2 will be 0. Agreed? So guess what? I take away 2 off all the x's. So if I take away 2 off this x, where'll I end up? Minus 7. And if I take away 2 off this x, where'll I end up? 1. Okay? So the first point dictates how much I move it and in what direction. Do I plus it, minus it, whatever. Right? Then my y's, to go from 3 to 0, how do I go from 3 to 0? You take away 3. Would you agree? So you have to take away 3 off all the x's, or all the y's even. So 1 take away 3 would be minus 2, wouldn't it? And 0 take away 3 would be minus 3. Are we all with me? Does everyone see where those numbers came from? Okay, so once I have 3 different points, I ignore 0, 0, right? I call this one x1, y1, and I call this one x2, y2, and I fill out half. Straight line just means drop the positive number, x1, y2, minus x2, y1. So that's a half. Remember, these are multiplied. So it's minus 7 times minus 3. Minus x2 is 1 times y1 is minus 2. Okay, so that would be a half times, that's plus 21, isn't it? You can just type it into your calculator from here and leave your calculator do the hard work. A minus by a minus is a plus 2, and that's a half of 23. There's no minus sign, so I don't have to do anything. Half of 23 is 23 over 2, or if you want to write it as 11.5, knock yourself out, right? Is that okay? So that's the area of the triangle. Are we all good? Does everyone know where these numbers came from? Right? We're all good with that? Okay? Right. How am I going for time? 12:58. Will I... Okay, just one working backwards, okay? So one quick example, one more example, sorry. Yeah. Sorry? Yeah, if you went from -2, -3 to 0, 0, you'd add 2 and add 3. So, do you know, if you picked, you know, same triangle there, but just say you picked -5, 1 to go to 0, 0. So the other points are 2, 3 and 3, 0. If you picked that one to go to 0, 0, you'd be adding 5 to the x's. So this would be 7, wouldn't it? And this would be 8. And you'd be taking off 1 from the y's. So that would be 2 and that would be -1. So these are the points you'd be using, but you get the exact same answer. Right? Or you could have chosen 3, 0. So you might have chosen 3, 0 to be the one to go to 0, 0. Okay, and then you take 3 off the x's. And look at the y's, girls. There's no change with the y's. So that probably would have been the easiest one to move because less calculations. But, you know, we can all take away 3, so it's not a big deal. Okay, would you agree? What's the noise? Is there? Oh, let's... Right, okay. Anyway, can I just do... So the coordinates are A, B, 6K, and C is 0, 0. Okay, so that means I've nothing to do. Great, isn't it, doesn't it? Right, they're telling me the area is 7. Right, so just a working backwards one. Okay, so obviously I don't have to do any translation because one of them is 0, 0 to start with. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So then it's a half x1, y2 minus x2, y1. But I know the answer is going to be 7. Okay? So that's a half times x1 is 4 by k minus x2 is 6 by 3 equals 7. Okay, so that's a half, right, times 4k, I'll keep the modulus, 4k minus 18 equals 7. Okay, you know when there's a half, so a half this number is 7. So what's a full without having that number? What would it be? 14, wouldn't it? Multiply across by 2 basically. So 4k minus 18 equals 14. Right, modulus equation. Right, okay, modulus equation. How do you solve these? You square both sides. Right, okay. So square both sides. Right, 4k to b squared is 16k squared. Twice the first by the second. Oh, this is a pain. 4 18s are 72. Twice that would be 144. K. I multiplied across by 2. Yeah. Okay. So if half that number is 7, then that number is 14. Okay. So will someone do 18 squared for me? 3. What do you say? 374? 324 equals 14 squared, I think is 196. Okay, this is a pain. 16k squared minus 144k to do the 1964, that's 128 plus 128 equals 0. Everything there divides by 4 anyway. Will it divide by 8? Will it go in, yeah, 8 will go into that. Will it divide by 16? It'll only divide by 8, will it? They what? They divide by 16. So divide by 16 just to make that easier. What's 16? How many 16s are on 144? 9. And how many 16s are in 128? 8. Thank you. Great. That's a plus. Okay. 2 sets of brackets. Two sets of brackets. A K and a K. An 8 and a 1. A minus and a minus. So that means K could be 8 or K could be 1. Okay, my point is, right, it would have been very easy to get to here and drop those modulus brackets, but you'd only get one of the answers. Okay, so we have to remember our algebra where we square both sides, etc. Okay, so we're going to do page 151. Let's do 1 to 8, except one part 4 and number 2 and number 7. It's easier to tell you which ones not to do. So 1 part 4, number 2 and number 7. Don't do those ones, do all the other ones. Is that alright? So 1 to 8 except 1 part 4, number 2 and number 7, because they're the examples I just did.